Hi, everybody. Can you see that screen in the back? Good, because while you're looking at the screen, we're going to take a quick selfie. Very subtle. I'm all about subtlety. That's what they say about me, subtle.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't look here.
Yeah.
Don't look there.
Look. Me? Huh?
No.
1 and 2.
Got it.
Thanks, everybody. Hi.
Hi.
Well, don't worry. We'll be quick. We know lunch is right now, like, very soon. Welcome, Dave Syer.
Josh Long.
No,
You know him.
Dr. Dave Syer.
Josh is going to give a demo, and my job is to slow him down. All
Yes.
right. So if anybody else wants to slow him down, just raise your hand, and I'll interrupt.
There's 4 seats in the front for. Don't all race. Don't trampling, but there are 4 seats if you need them. Dr. Syer, one of my favorite doctors, along with Doctors Who, Strange, Seuss, Subramaniam, Pepper. Some of my favorite doctors, and this is my favorite. And we're going to talk about gRPC, this project that you got rolling a couple years ago.
Yeah, a bit like Dr. Pepper. So misunderstood.
So misunderstood.
So gRPC. Who knows what gRPC is? Quite a few. Yeah, G is for Google. RPC is the old remote procedure call.
Ooh, wait. No, we're okay with that now.
No, we're okay with it now, I think. Yeah.
It's fine. It's back.
As long as it's Google.
Yeah.
It's fine. So we know that RPC is dangerous, right? But so the best you can do, it turns out, is to codify it, basically, and that's what Google did. Make a protocol and see if anybody implements it. And they have implemented it in quite a few different languages, which is one of the things that makes it very popular. Actually, how many people actually already use gRPC in production or just messing around? Anything? Quite a few. There have been. It's an old project, and there have been Java implementations. There is a Java implementation. That's the one that we use within Spring, right? So this is what Spring does. We reach out and integrate stuff that people already do because we're lazy. We don't want to do it ourselves. And what was I trying to say? So there were gRPC Java integrations, even with Spring in the community.
Couple, at least, I remember.
Yeah, I think maybe I counted 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And we'd always just thought, that's fine, let them get on with it. They're a nice community, they're working together. And then things, I think on all of those projects, they slowed down quite a lot, and the people who were maintaining them just didn't have time anymore, and you know what it's like with these one-man bands, open source projects. So it was actually Google came to us and said, we've noticed that this Spring gRPC community is dying a little bit. Can you come in and do something to prop it up? So we could have done a number of different things, but what we chose to do is create our own project, Spring gRPC, and that's what we're here to talk to you about today. And
it's been maintained. You started it as a separate project, but now it's sort of converging towards a Spring Boot.
Its life cycle was it's experimental to start with, and so there's a 0.x release train that was with Spring Boot 3, and when we went to Spring Boot 4, we released at 1.0. So we now you have the opportunity to get long-term support and things like that, like you do with Spring projects. Yeah. And the next plan that is already in motion is to take part of the project, the part that is to do with Spring Boot, and just put that in Spring Boot. So Spring Boot is going to get a whole load of new features in 4.1. In November, is it? No, it's in the summer. Yeah. Summer. Yeah, coming very soon. Yeah.
Yes.
Next month.
You can check that by going to calendar.spring.io. He would know that.
If I'd ever bothered to look. Yeah. No, November's in my mind because that's the Spring framework.
Yeah, the big one.
Yeah. No, it's in the summer, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. So what we're going to do today is just give you a nice demo so you can see all the features, at a very high level, of course. and very fast because, you know,
Yeah,
that's
no
the
time.
house style, and we don't have much time.
But why gRPC? Why not just
Why
do
does
HTTP?
anybody use gRPC? Would anybody like to answer that question for us?
I mean, it's a good question.
It is a good question.
I made a joke earlier about, RPC, boo, but actually, I think gRPC fixes a lot of the things that made regular RPC less appealing, palatable,
Yeah.
right?
I think that's the reason that they set it up the way that they did. Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't know. It must be a personal choice, I suppose, in the end of the day. But the reasons I see people listing for using gRPC are number one, probably top of the list is the schema support. So the fact that you can't really get away without having a contract for your remote procedures. So it's not just loosey-goosey HTTP, throw JSON at it, and you can get anything back. There is an actual protocol with an IDL, right, a language that defines the interface.
Is it WSDL? Web Services Description Language? Is this what we're doing?
A bit like that.
Much better.
But actually,
don't leave.
yeah, but designed to be human readable. I mean, there's a binary version of it as well, which is what actually gets exchanged between the services and the clients. But there's a human readable version of it, which we're going to see like in about 30 seconds.
Yep.
So number one, the schema. Number two, because of the schema and the big community that's out there, polyglot. So there's any language you want, basically, you can generate gRPC clients and server code, and you're going to see that working in a minute in Java, of course.
Super fast.
But in organizations where you have polyglot requirements, so if somebody wants to use Python, Go, Node, Rust, whatever, they've all got gRPC support. So, and Java, of course, also since a long time. So that's number two. And number three, people often talk about performance because it isn't intrinsically magic, I don't think. It's a binary protocol. So binary data transfer tends to be a little bit more efficient than JSON. I think that's something to do with it.
Fair bit, yeah.
And also the servers that they've implemented. So you'll see that happening here as well. There's a server in Java which is written on very specifically for gRPC on the Netty platform. And Netty, as we know, is very efficient. So if you do something focused on it, it's going to be very fast. And people have given that as a reason. I'm not sure if it would stand up to that much scrutiny, to be honest, but it's a reason that people use. Because, I mean, just, any old web server with a binary protocol, binary data exchange would probably be just as good, I think, anyway. All right, should we get started?
Let's get going. Okay, start.spring.io. We're going to generate a new application. I have a pre-configured service here. So what do we got? Spring gRPC server.
Okay.
Yeah, we've got the security. We're going to comment this out for now. Okay. Got observability. Going to call this service because I'm great with names. I get that from my father. He was great with names. When I was a small boy, we had a small white dog, and my father named him White Dog. Okay, very good with names. And then the version of Java. And again, it doesn't really matter. I guess you could use this if you wanted to make terrible life decisions. But we're going to use 25. Hit enter. Open this up. First things first, I'm going to comment out security. Don't be scared.
Comment out the security, yeah. That's the first thing everybody does.
Yep, but notice that when we generate the project, we have the dependency management. This won't be here for too long, right?
That's one of the things that's going into Spring Boot, yeah. So the Spring Boot starter parent will contain that.
And this giant Maven plugin that I've never correctly gotten right by myself.
You can also delete that, I think, when you get to 4.1.
Yep, most of that will go away in 4.1. Not all of it, but most of it.
Just 3 lines, I think.
Yeah. And then now for the security. Okay, ciao. Anything else?
I think that's it, actually. Yeah. I've got a test one there, but I don't think that affects the...
Nice. So now I want to write code, but I am not in a position to do that because I need to configure the schema. I want to export the definition.
Let's see it.
This is one of those things where when you build HTTP services, invariably, if you want to do it at scale with any kind of success, you end up having to build schema of some sort, right? And there's a lot of discussion and debate about how to best do this. but it's pretty clear you need to do it. At some point, for it to be workable in a distributed system at a large scale, having solid understanding of the shape of the API is valuable. You get that for free here.
Your clients need to know what you're doing. So yeah, you can invent a way to expose it, or you can use something off the gRPC.
Just realized.
gRPC is off the shelf. Creating a.
There you go. Can you see that, everybody?
I can see it. Yeah.
Okay. What am I doing?
Yeah. So we're doing Proto 3 is the level of the version of the standard, the gRPC standard. Actually, it's the protobuf, isn't it? The protobuf encoding standard is Proto 3. And then you've got two options which just relate to the Java code generation. So we're going to do Java code generation in a minute, and you'll see those, see that package name, and you'll see a bunch of files generated. String name equals 1.
Oh.
Okay, so why does name and message have number 1?
Yeah. Why?
Because it's it's in the protobuf. It's a positional argument. So the first argument is always the name in a greetings request, and that's the way they recommend that you. Well, I mean, you have to provide a positional number. They recommend that you never change that, right? So if you want to add another field, make it number 2, but never make another number 1, because that will just confuse your old clients. So this is a way of ensuring some level, at least, of evolvability of the API for older clients.
We just code generated all that. I have to. He does not let me forget. As an Eclipse user and a Visual Studio Code user,
I never have to do this.
He never has to do this.
Every time he does it, he has to go and add another source to his IDE class path.
so I have to tell IntelliJ about the presence of that code-generated code.
But you never forget, I suppose. So
Default.
probably all right.
Then
So now we're going to implement. We're going to extend one of the generated classes. We're going to make it into an @service, probably. Yeah. So this will become a Spring Bean.
you have to tell the client we're done. We have to do something on next. Greetings response dot new builder, and we're going to say set message hello. I'm going to take the request. Request is the object that came in from the client, right? And you define this service here
Yeah. Oh yeah. Should we talk about
RPC
that a bit?
versus others.
That's a single request response. RPC, it's just it takes an object and returns an object. There's a stream keyword, so you can also accept a stream and return a stream, so you can have unidirectional or bidirectional streaming.
Okay.
We're just going to do the request response for this demo.
There's a nice nice.
So you're running
Nice.
it already. That was quick. I didn't see that.
Well,
He's fast.
Mundo
So, Daniel.
host 9090. It starts up. So it's not starting up on Tomcat. Why is that? What did I do?
It's not starting on Tomcat because you didn't include Tomcat in your class path, right? It's Spring Boot, so we expect things to be auto-configured. And what you're getting auto-configured here is the gRPC Netty-based server, which comes from Google. It's a gRPC.
But you could run it on Tomcat.
You could run it on Tomcat. That's actually one of the things that they support in the Google Java project as well. They provide a servlet. And so in Spring Boot land, what that means is if the servlet is on your class path, and so is Tomcat or a servlet container, we configure it for you. So then you've got a gRPC running on the same web server as your other endpoints, I guess, and that might be valuable to some people.
We built a client. Let's go back. We used the client. Let's go build one.
Go build a client, yeah.
Okay.
Same
Client.
plan,
Auth client, gRPC client, web.
right?
Okay.
Bring web because we still have to do that to get the.
And same as before, we're going to copy and paste. We're going to do something terrible, something that you should never ever do, ever. Not even when you're all by yourself at home and no one is looking. We're going to copy and paste code.
You might see him do it a couple of times here.
Client. Okay.
There are other strategies for this, right? You could package it up into a jar file or something. Or you could package the generated classes, I guess, because you're just going to generate the same things.
Right, that's true. Is that common, to have a common jar between the two?
It is, yeah. I've seen some pretty horrific examples of that, though, where if you've got 1,000 services and all of their gRPC generated code is in a single jar file, that's a horrible hot mess, right? So probably don't do that.
So wait, it used to be that you would have to generate, you'd use a stub, but now you've got this
Now
new
you
thing.
can just do that, yeah. I think when you first learned it, you didn't have this option. So this is a bit like the HTTP interface clients, if you've seen those in, when were they, in Spring Framework?
6. No, 7.
Yeah.
Oh, well, the interface itself.
The interface thing was in 6, but then the Spring Boot auto configuration for it just came in Spring Boot 4, I think. So this is a lot like that. Yeah, he's showing you what it would look like for HTTP.
They call theirs services. We call ours clients.
Yeah, we had an argument about that, and I lost. So.
Oh well. So now I've got the client on the class path. I can actually use it.
Can you add a target to the
right.
import? Yeah, just to make things easier later, actually, because I think this is the default.
Did I comment out security? Or
Comment out
security?
security again.
Not real until it's secure. That's just... You would know. You worked on the. Oh, I forgot. You actually were one of the. Okay.
I was
this is a long-
Spring Security OAuth 2. That was my thing for a while. Yeah, look, he's going to add it to the list.
Getting so the
I was
code
thinking
creator.
about that actually. Yeah, you know the reason we did that.
UAA.
Yeah, the UAA and Cloud Foundry. So Cloud Foundry, I was working on the Cloud Foundry team, and we needed user access, a security server. And Java wasn't very popular in the Cloud Foundry ecosystem, it had to be said. But I was there, and we couldn't find anything that wasn't Java where we could do the depth of what you can do with Java and security, right? SAML, OAuth 2, all of this stuff is just much better supported in Java than on any other platform then. And I think it's still true. I mean, that speaks to what you were saying in the keynote, right? That now is the time, right, for Java developers to seize the enterprise if they haven't already. But yeah, so that's the reason that I was involved in that. So it's running now insecure, and we can just have a look at.
There you go.
Hello
So,
world.
did that work?
Okay.
Yeah, it did. If I try.
So you hard-coded the request name. Yeah.
Sure.
There we go.
Okay.
All right.
So I have an HTTP controller that's
has
injecting the client.
everybody got that? Yeah, I was going to explain. There's an HTTP REST endpoint here where he's calling gRPC client out to the separate server process. So the server and the client are both implemented in Spring. One of them is a web application. The other one's a gRPC server.
So we're not using like a REST client or HTTP client. We're using the generated client stub from the schema. So we have the schema on both sides. You could share it. You could put it in a shared jar, etc. Okay. And now this could be streaming. You could do all sorts of things. This kind of looks like if you implemented your own publisher in the reactive world, it kind of looks like that, right? You've got the on next.
Yeah. The
On next looks like emit.
Fallback-based thing. Yeah.
Well, we've got our application. They're talking to each other. I feel like that's already half the battle. That took me hours before this project came along.
Yeah, because of all this auto-configuration, conventions, coding over conventions over coding, whatever we...
Convention over configuration. Yeah,
That's the one.
Yeah. So now we've got this observability. I don't know. It's not real until I can actually measure it, right? Like I can't prove it's doing the
Right,
thing.
let's have a look at the metrics, because you've been playing with it, so it should have spit out some...
Localhost 3000. Okay. And by the way, isn't that amazing? I went to the start.spring.io and I chose Open Telemetry. This is a new thing in Spring Boot 4. Getting a little cragged in here, sorry. Open Telemetry. There, I just added that. And I've got Grafana running on the default port, and it's just automatically sending things over. In my config, I probably should have done something like sampling whatever, 1.0. But it doesn't matter. We probably have something here.
That means we won't have many traces because you haven't hit it with very much load yet. But you should have metrics.
Definitely. So if I search for just gRPC, there you go. I don't have
Yeah, well,
no real like
you haven't done very much with it yet. So it's fine. It's collecting data.
right, behind the scenes. Okay, so there we go. We've got a client, we've got a service. Oh, is it healthy? We don't know that either, right?
Healthy, right? Yeah, right.
So,
So there's a health endpoint because you put that actuator thing.
yep. This code, by the way, is on my GitHub, on github.com Josh Long Attic. So github.com Josh Long Attic, right? And then it's this folder name here. So that folder, here we are. Okay. And the reason that's important is because we want you to be able to play the home game, follow along at home. There you go. Internet doing what it's thing. There you go. So the code's already there. Now, the reason I'm looking at my own notes here is because I can never remember this. Okay. We're using a nice command line tool called gRPC curl. It's like curl, but for gRPC. We're asking if it's healthy. Is that backed by the same actuator health endpoint?
It is because you're in a Spring Boot app, of course. Yeah. So you get this, the status that you get back will reflect what you would have got back from the HTTP endpoint in a normal Spring Boot application.
So if the database is down, this will say that it's unhealthy?
Yeah. And this is a Google feature. This is the health check is like a public reference point for gRPC services. And for instance, Kubernetes has its own probes that you can set up to ping that endpoint using gRPC, not using plain HTTP.
Okay, so we've got now observability. We've got the client, the server. It's been pretty easy so far. I think the next bit is get some security and then lunch.
Yeah. Good. Early lunch would be good, wouldn't it? Right. Okay. So fingers crossed for a smooth security integration. I saw your one with James this morning.
Yeah, if I can do it, come on. It'll be fine. We're going to do this. This is going to be the third time I've done the Spring authorization server. By the way, you worked on the original integration for OAuth and Spring.
Yes.
Starting 2011.
It was that long ago, wasn't it?
Yeah. That project was really good, but it was missing some things like OIDC because it came before OIDC, right? It was missing a few things.
OIDC was it was an RFC, I think, when we started work on that. But yeah, so that project ran out of steam and kind of migrated itself into Spring Security.
Right.
That's what he's going to use now to create an auth server.
So OAuth 2 authorization server, web, Postgres, JDBC. Okay, create some users.
And I do like how easy this is.
Oh, me too. The only thing that isn't good is YAML. I hate YAML.
Didn't even need very much for this.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
See on the client and the server.
Okay, look away, everybody. It's fine, just YAML. So I'm going to connect to the SQL database. I've got a registered OAuth client. Remember, OAuth is all about delegated authentication and authorization, right? I have a server that has access to the thing that I use to authenticate in my system. It in turn can, once I've authenticated, it'll hand out a token that clients can use to then be sure that they are who they say they are. The system can be sure that that is the person they say they are. Okay, so
Bend and verify. I like that.
Yeah. Registration, client ID. Normally you'd have like a developer.twitter.com or developer.facebook.com. You'd go there and self-register a new app or whatever.
Yeah,
but
if you're using Twitter as an authorization service.
Right.
Yeah.
And here we're just doing it in YAML, but there's an object you can create your own self-service forms, all that kind of stuff. And we're going to get the users, the identity, the users and passwords from our SQL database. So to that end, let's go to the Java code here, and I'll write some code. Now stand back. This is going to be a little gruesome, but I think we'll get it done. You know, my dad always said, if it's worth doing, do it right. Okay, it's done. So there's the auth server. And now we need to integrate the OAuth service with our, we need to have it validate the properties, right? So we're going to go here, paste that all there. We're going to have it validate the client, rather, the tokens, by going to the auth server, which is running on port 7070. In the build, I need to re-enable the security. Very important. You will not get far without this. Okay. Now, when they wrote OAuth, did anybody have any sense that they'd be using it in gRPC? No, because of course not. That would be.
I don't think so.
You did it, and it's awesome.
I mean, you're still using it in the original setting, actually, here, but yeah.
This is so cool, because I want my tokens to go everywhere.
It's sort of generally applicable anywhere where you've got a sort of messaging paradigm, right? Where you've got requests that has headers, you can add an authentication. So people have done this with messaging points as well.
What am I doing?
Rabbit
gRPC.
MQ, that sort of thing.
By the way, gRPC, it's easy to say gRPC or HTTP, but it is actually HTTP, isn't it?
It is HTTP, yeah. So the protocol actually mandates that it's HTTP, which, again, I mean, like, that's a bit like the point that you just made about OAuth 2, right? They kind of never assumed that anybody would want to do it over any other transport, but I don't know why. I mean, why wouldn't you want to? It's just binary data exchange, but they said that it has to be over HTTP 2.
Yeah.
It has to be HTTP 2.
Does that look right to you?
You want an auth server and to authenticate everything. Yeah, that looks good.
Okay, so this is like a filter. This is like the resource server support in
Did you
regular
want
HTTP.
to actually introspect the users, the authenticated user? This is the server, right?
Yeah. Oh, I want to. Oh, yeah. Here. So instead of the name coming from the request, I'm just going to ignore that, and we'll get access to the very convenient security context holder. .get context. .get authentication. .get name. Okay.
Right. So we'll just ignore the request coming in, and we'll say hello to whoever's logged in, right?
So now we need to do the same thing on the client side.
Just to prove that it's working.
This is, I will be the first to admit, this could be.
I think we can clean this up. But
Right.
yeah, I'll watch you do it. I think you'll be fine.
Right.
gRPC channel.
This.
Thing. Yeah.
This. And the gRPC. This one. Dot matching.
Localhost 9.
This is the target, right? This goes right here. Same string.
So it's going to match that string. Yeah.
Okay, and then a.intercept.
You can also use logical names here if you wanted to extract the configuration of the port and the host and everything into external configuration. But for the demo, we're just using literals.
Oh, I have to bring in the build. Bring in security. And Shift I.
Try as client manager.
Okay. There we go. So all we're going to do is we're going to build a method that, given a request, will extract out the currently authenticated user and use that to send it off into the request. So, wait, what? Could that actually work? No way. You have to do some work here, AI. Don't cheat. Okay. So var user.
Yeah, it jumped a bit too fast there, didn't it?
Yeah. If the user is an instance of OAuth authentication token, then we want to, given the token, get the, nope, wrong one. We want to get the registration ID, which is this token.
Nice that it thinks it knows the answer.
But it's like me. It's confidently wrong. Okay. Token.get client registration ID, and then we want to say OAuth authorization request dot client registration ID dot principal and pass in the user dot build. Okay. Var request
response.
Here we are, and then return request dot get. No, I have to pass the authorization manager. OAuth to client service, whatever. What is that object if not the right thing? OAuth to authorized. Not the right one. OAuth to authorize.
Client manager.
It is right. Okay.
I think you just spelt it wrong down there. It's service and email manager.
Oh, what is this then?
Where that came from.
AI. Oh wait, it forced it. Oh, it's this. It is the same thing. Okay, that should work. So that authorize, pass in the request.
Got it.
Get the access token. Get the token value. Easy. Rolls right off the tongue.
Right. Return null at the end. Return null at the end in case.
Oh yeah, return null. Okay. So sad. So there's the. So basically, it's just an interceptor
I
that
think
will.
if you don't do that, it'll. Well, you have to return something, right? But don't throw an exception. You don't have to because it'll just deny access.
So this is a filter that's going to sit there. When we make a request going out, it's going to customize all requests going out to this service, and we're going to add an interceptor, and the interceptor is in turn when it gets run, this is a callable supplier. When it gets run, we're going to look up this method and look up the current authenticated user. So in order to make this request, you have to be authenticated. If you're not authenticated, it'll ask you to authenticate. Does that sound right?
Yeah, it sounds right. Clearly, you shouldn't have to do this.
Oh, did I fail somewhere?
Doesn't the
Yes, I knew this is wrong. What is that?
the HTTP client kind of picks up an interceptor on its own, doesn't it? Oh, did it?
New
how did that
intelligence,
get
like,
intercepted? Yeah, how
you
did
know,
that get?
Going with my heart. To authorized. Wait. This is still the wrong one, though. Client manager. I feel like that's the only one that's
Maybe
correct.
you didn't import it.
But the client config.
Ah, yeah.
Don't worry.
There's Spring Boot magic going on here. Spring Boot is looking for properties. If it doesn't find them, it's not going to configure that manager, right?
Yeah. So this is the client side equivalent to the client definition in the server. Okay. So now, all together now. Hello.
I've done that already today. I
Ready?
saw you do that today.
Yeah. Hello, Josh.
And it knows who you are.
So we went to 8080, went to hello. It said, hey, I don't know you. I'm not going to give you that response, that kind greeting that was waiting for you on the other side of that gRPC service, unless you identify yourself. It redirected me to the auth server. That gave me a token. I then used that token to make a request to the gRPC service, which was able to extract my identity from it and then provide a response accordingly.
Yeah.
Nice. So now we have...
So apart from that, do you want to summarize? Yeah.
I just think that's it. We have a gRPC service, we have code generation, we have observability, we have easy integration. It works in the Tomcat, it works by itself, works in reactive.
What works in reactive? Well, there is a reactive gRPC project.
Yeah. And we have security.
Which you can use to generate reactive clients and servers, actually. So if the code generator knows about it, it can create reactive code for you. And also Kotlin, if you like Kotlin.
Yeah.
So I was going to say, apart from the awkwardness with the OAuth 2 client,
right?
What would you like to happen next? Yeah, in Spring gRPC. What's on your shopping list? Anybody else got any requests?
Yeah, I have questions. Who likes code generation? Don't all raise your hands at once, right?
There are some people who like it, you see.
Wouldn't it be cool if you had like a controller, like a gRPC controller, just like with RSocket or GraphQL or WebSockets or whatever? Wouldn't it be cool if you could have like a method where you could do that kind of thing?
You mean like at get mapping?
Yeah, but at RPC mapping or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Who likes that idea?
We're not going
Pojo controllers. Who likes that?
What is it?
Nobody likes it. Okay.
What was the question?
Nobody likes it. Who likes Pojo controllers, I said.
Oh, Pojo control, plain old Java object controllers. Yes, I like this. Yes. Who likes regular Java objects instead of like code generation? Yeah.
Yeah, we could try that.
I'm not convinced they understood the questions.
Oh, I think you might be right. Okay.
Huh. Okay. It's the lack of food.
Yeah, maybe we should wrap up because they'll be opening the lunch lines soon, and we don't want to miss it.
If we let you go early, will you promise to rate this talk the highest? Okay. Any questions?
Any
preguntas? I had a question. Who learned something new? Who had fun? All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a great Spring IO.